So now we're back to Chapter 5. We have now finally got to Lecture 2 on other elasticities. So far we spent a lot of time on the price elasticity of demand, and now it's time to look at the other three elasticities. And the good news is that we won't spend nearly as much time on these three as the price elasticity. The reason there is that if you understand the price elasticity of demand, then you can pretty much understand any elasticity. And of all of them, I think the price elasticity of demand is probably the most important one for the operations of a business. But these do matter as well. The next two elasticities also tell us something about our customers if we run a business. And the first one here is income elasticity of demand. And this also measures the responsiveness, but now it's the responsiveness of quantity demanded, which again are your sales, compared not to a change in price, but now to a change in the income of your customers. Because that also is a variable that changes. And this mostly would do with changes over the business cycle. If you take macroeconomics, you learn that in a recession, incomes tend to be falling, and that can cause sales to go down for many firms. It also can cause sales to go up for some firms. And then if income is going up during an expansion, that can also change how your sales behave. And so it's important to understand what happens to your potential sales over the business cycle, and it also tells you about who your customers are. Are they high income, low income? Do they treat your product as a necessity? Do they treat it as a luxury? Things like that. And so here we have our equation, and we're just going to have a definition equation. We could have a midpoint formula, but we're not going to do that. And so the only equation you need for this class is the income elasticity definition equation. It simply is the percent change in the quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price. So again, you can write it out like this if you want. Same thing, just maybe a little bit cleaner. Keep breaking my lead. So the quantity demanded, percent change quantity demanded over the percent change in price. And so in this case, the sign, the mathematical sign does matter because it could be negative. Oh gosh, my cat again. Sorry about that. And so here, if the income, oops, made a mistake right there, change in price. That's change in Y for income. We use Y for income because I is taken for investment in macroeconomics. And so now if your income goes up, some goods we actually buy less of. Remember from chapter 3, those are our goods which are considered inferior. So maybe this could be top ramen. If income goes up for a lot of people, they no longer are a starving student. They get a full-time job making good money, and now they'll be buying less top ramen and maybe buying more steak, more pork, things like that. And then if income goes down during a recession, then people buy more of these things. More staples, maybe shop at Goodwill more, things like that. And then if it's positive, that tells us it's normal. That now if your income goes up, people buy more, and that happens during the expansion quite a bit. Income goes up, people buy more new cars, new appliances, go out to restaurants more if they're open. And then if income goes down during the recession, then they on these things. And then if the number is inelastic, it also tells us something else. This is where the number is greater than 0, so it's normal, but it's less than 1, so it's inelastic. This is a good that will have a number. Cut again. It's hard to work from home. Okay, where was I? Inelastic demand. This would be number maybe equal maybe to 0.2. And so this tells me that if income goes up, Y is income goes up by 10%, that quantity demand will go up by a little bit, 2%. So these are things that you buy on a regular basis. Income does not have a big impact on how much you buy. For example, things like toilet paper, dishwashing soap, electricity, much of the gasoline we buy, most of your food products all tend to be necessities. And so you might buy a bit more, a bit less based on your income, but it won't change that much. So these kind of products are probably okay during the business cycle. In a recession, you might expect to sell less toothpaste, but really how much less are you going to sell? People still need toothpaste. So in a recession, what they tend to cut back on are not necessities, but more your luxuries. And your luxuries have a number that's over 1. And so that'll be a number, maybe go to 2. So now if income goes up by 10%, we don't increase our sales by just 2%, we increase it by 20%. Because 20 over 10 would be 2. But also when income goes down by 10%, then you get the reverse as well. Sales go down by 20%. And so numbers that are over 1 tend to be luxuries. We don't need to buy these products when times are good. Then we would go out to more restaurants, go out to the theater, maybe travel, take trips, buy new iPhones, buy expensive perfume, things like that. So here are some actual numbers. Electricity is 0.5. So this tells me, again, if income goes up by 10%, we're going to buy 5% more electricity. That seems kind of high to me. That might be more the long run, that we're not going to be buying more electricity, because when you get that big bonus, you don't go out there and celebrate by turning on more lights. It probably means over the long run that when you get more money, you buy more appliances, and therefore you will consume more electricity. Dentist services are considered a luxury by consumers. I'm not sure the dentists like that. This tells me that if income goes up by 10%, they will have 14% increase in their customers come in to pay for dental services, but also the opposite. If income goes down by 10%, we're going to cut back by 14% on dental services, and that'll give us a number of 1.41. Looks like we treat new furniture like we treat dentists. Same kind of a luxury. Physician services are less than 1, so we treat them more as a necessity. So we're more likely to go to the medical doctor than we are going to the dentist. And private education is highly elastic, which means it's considered a strong luxury, which is no surprise there. Another elasticity is the cross-price elasticity, and this measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded of one good now to a change in the price of not this good, but another good. So you want to see the percent change in the quantity demanded of good A divided by the percent change in the price of another good, good B. So now if it's less than 0, it's negative. So this tells me when the price of B goes up, we're going to be buying more A. So B goes up, we buy less A. And it looks like I got that wrong here. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Fuzzy thinking. So if B gets more expensive, then that means we'll be buying less B, which means we're also going to be buying less A at the same time. So this would be like maybe hot dogs and hot dog buns. So if the price of hot dogs go up, we buy less hot dogs, and therefore we're going to be buying less hot dog buns. Likewise, when hot dogs are on sale, price of B goes down, we buy more hot dogs, we'll automatically buy more hot dog buns at the same time. And the more the number is, more negative it is, the closer or the further away it is from 0, the more negative, the stronger these goods are considered complements. And this tells a firm how to market your goods, where do you put them in the store, do you want to package them together on Amazon, things like that. And then when the number is greater than 0, this means when the price of B goes up, B gets more expensive, people buy more A. So quantity demanded of A goes up. And this would be more like a Coke and Pepsi. If Coke gets more expensive, then people will buy more Pepsi. If coffee gets more expensive, people will buy more tea. And so they move in the same direction. Likewise, if, say, coffee is on sale, people buy more coffee. Therefore, they'll be buying less tea. And the more the number is greater than 0, the further away it is from 0, being positive, that tells us these goods are considered to be stronger substitutes. So it tells a firm who the competitors are. It tells them who you might want to campaign or have an advertising campaign against. Try to get customers away from your competitors' products toward your products. So it's a good way to identify your competitors. Some actual numbers. We have margarine with the price of butter. So it's 1.5. It's highly elastic. Again, the numbers over 1 is going to be considered elastic. And this means they're going to be stronger substitutes. So this means that the price of butter goes up by 10%. So price of butter goes up by 10%. Butter. That the sales of margarine, quantity demanded of margarine, M for margarine, is going to go up by maybe 15%. Which is no surprise there. Coke and Pepsi are also substitutes, but not as strong. So this tells me if the price of Pepsi P goes up by 10%, that you're going to see sales of Coke, quantity demanded of Coke, Coca-Cola, go up by 6%. And I'm not sure Coca-Cola likes that. They might want to have a stronger impact. It looks like that maybe Pepsi will keep a fair number of their customers, and only some of them will defect over to Coca-Cola if Pepsi goes up in price. Ground beef with the price of poultry, very small substitutes. So if the price of poultry goes up, beef or poultry goes up by 10%. Chicken, that the quantity demanded of ground beef go up by a little bit, about 2.4%. So it looks like people, again, are going to stay with their chicken, maybe turkey, or maybe might go into another type of meat, maybe fish. Maybe check out some vegetarian. They have Impossible Burger and Beyond Beef are pretty good vegetarian substitutes, plant-based proteins. And then we have a negative number, which is a complement. And this tells me that the entertainment industry, going out to the movies, miniature golf, going to the plays, theaters, concerts, are pretty much associated with buying food. This looks like it's probably restaurants. And so if price of restaurant meals go down by 10%, people would pay maybe 7% more for entertainment. So they seem to be connected. Okay, let's stop there. And I have one more price elasticity to talk about, and that would be for supply.